Welcome to the greatest American art form, the mixtape. Mixtape, a homemade compilation of media typically from multiple sources recorded into a medium. Mixtape Therapy, a compilation of authentic conversations recorded by multiple people on my podcast. Our connections are experiences that we have, and I hope these mixtapes make us feel more connected. Remember, be authentic. They'll adjust. So, we have not met before tonight.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So, I want you to tell me what your first impressions of me from your therapist's point of view, what you saw and what you thought. I want you to be no holds barred.
Okay.
What you thought as when you came in, negatives and positives or whatever. I'm just curious.
Okay. I immediately saw, first of all, the whole vibe, which I've seen your video before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen videos of you before, but I've got this, like got the Jimi Hendrix shirt, got some prayer beads. We got some tattoos. And I also know that you're into Jesus. So I get this mixed cultural tradition mishmash. I see a seeker. I'm not going to lie. I see a big time.
So what does that mean?
A seeker. I would call myself a seeker as well. It's like you are into the deeper questions in life. You are wanting to get to the meat of the conversation. It's like not into small talk.
Have you always been that way?
Yes.
Okay.
And you really remind me of my friend Mike. That's just a weird thing, but you remind me of my friend.
Really quickly.
Yes.
If I got told that a lot of people always tell me I remind them of someone.
Oh.
What does that mean? Like I don't get it a lot, but I mean, that is definitely not the first time someone has told me, you remind me of my friend blank.
Okay.
What would that mean?
Okay. I would think that would mean that you are extremely good at mirroring people, which means that you pay close attention. You're a listener, which means that people are then, you reflect people's vibe back to them, which then makes it easier for them to project something onto you. Any
idea how I learned that skill?
I would guess that growing up, you were somehow put in the position where you were a caretaker and had to be highly attuned to the needs of others and emotions.
And that can create someone that is very covert narcissistic.
You say covert narcissistic, and I'm curious what you mean by that. You mean like someone who is getting an ego boost out of... Feel free, if I'm saying something wrong, feel free to correct me. Okay. There is the extrovert narcissist, the one we know, that guy's an asshole. Yeah, that guy's a dick. Gotcha.
Right. And then there's the kind of that covert narcissist that's basically like a victim.
Yes.
Like everything's always like happening to me. I'm always doing these good things for people. So
and a codependent, I would actually... It sounds
codependent narcissist.
Sounds like it's put in that category.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
And so maybe the tools that I learned of that mirroring skill didn't come from empathy. It came from narcissism.
I would say I would be a little bit kinder and say
I'll take it.
And maybe it's because I also very much fall into the camp that I'm describing as I described you.
And also, like, you have met me today.
Yes.
So I'm asking you to make this really broad evaluation just based on like 2 hours. You know what I mean?
I would guess that has, instead of saying it's like narcissistic, which is a bit harsh, I would say that is tied into your belief system about love and your ability to earn love. I think being attuned to the emotions of others, being very concerned about others, being a listener, being a caretaker is very wrapped up into you getting the love that you crave.
Sure.
So love, I think, is like, and I'm sure you know this, but I always like to emphasize this point, which is that love for humans feels like life or death because it is life or death, right? We're human mammals, which means that your daughter, when she was born, could she have lived without your care? No. Absolutely not. She would have died in a second. So it's like we learn from a very young age to equate love and affection with survival because it is survival, which means that when love is withdrawn from us, no matter how old we are, we freak the fuck out because it really does feel like
it's
part
like
of us
death.
is going to die.
Yes.
And it's very much wired into our survival system. So your desire to earn love in this way that you learned would maybe reliably give you love, which is a great tactic. It's very resourceful, right? Because when you are of use to others, you do kind of secure your position of lovability.
It's not sustainable though.
It's not, but it did serve you at a point, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
This would be my very, very, I would never tell this to an actual client kind of thing. And then
no, but I'm glad you're like, no, I'm glad you're telling me like that this is what I want you to, I guess kind of what I would like people to see is that like, if I'm here to do work, like I want to know, let's talk about it. And like, so far, I mean, you've pretty much nailed everything, right? So like, but that's just by me being up, like, say, hey, give it to me straight, give it to me honest. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss how insecure I was. Let's discuss like how I being fed for, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and I would say, and this, I mean, this is convenient though, because it completely ties into my personality type as well, which is this like, because you have probably done that for so much of your life, which is to maybe prop others up or to attune yourself to the needs of others. Or
make myself feel better.
Right. But there's within that, because you would necessarily sort of be in the shadow of that, there's a deep desire to be seen, which would spur one to have a podcast, because it's like, I need to be seen for me. And even though I'm going to continue to be with others and attune to others and highlight others, I still need to be known and seen. And I think that is but that's not a bad thing. That's like, as humans, I think we need to be known.
I agree.
You can disagree if you want.
No. I agree. I'm really thinking about it. I only want to be seen if it's something that will benefit someone else, or like I read this quote recently, and I mean, it's an old quote, and I forgot who it was, but like it basically said like, while you're here on Earth, your job is to find your gift, and then the next thing you do is to give it, like what you're supposed to do with it is give it away, right?
Yes.
And to find emotional freedom, I want everybody to feel that. And so if I do something on the podcast that shows my face, or like that it's some sort of, could be some level of self-serving, if it's serving others, then that's when I feel the best. I'm not looking to fulfill anything for me, because that doesn't feels better to like have others feel better and not emotionally be attached to it. Like it means something for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and maybe I'm attaching too much of myself to it. I find that because I personally struggle to have, or, up until this point, have struggled a lot to kind of confide in other people, or allow myself to be helped by others, allow myself to be vulnerable before others. I have periodically throughout my life sought that kind of vulnerability and visibility in more like public and impersonal ways. Like I would like have a blog where I'd like spill my guts, or in high school, I gave a lot of like speeches to the whole school about my personal struggles. And that would be easier for me than having maybe a one-on-one conversation with a friend and really kind of confiding myself. And so to me, it was like, I did have that need to be recognized and seen, but I couldn't figure out how to do it in like a normal person to person way, the way that I was able to facilitate for others. So I would like kind of take a more like public.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm still trying to figure that part out about myself, but it's like this weird thing that I've noticed.
All right. What else about me? First impressions.
Okay. And then, I mean, I noticed immediately your family is like your whole world. And that was amazing. That was so cool. I mean, like you didn't warn me that you had a girlfriend and kid, but like I came in and they're just like, it's like this bright beacon in the middle. And like, I think just seeing the way that you related to your daughter was like, I wouldn't have guessed that from watching your podcast. Watching your podcast, I mean, I know you had a daughter because I listened enough, but like this vibe is just like, I'm a single dude and I have this like podcasting garage. But like then you go into that zone and you're like completely in this family circuit. And that was really, I don't know, I think that really informs.
Well, because that's for me.
But that's real.
That's mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is also mine, but this is also this is on display for everyone. That's not on display for everyone.
Which I love, because so many people are putting that on display, and I don't want to like talk down on that. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not for me. Like I think that the most sacred things, at least when it comes to the people in our life, I don't want to personally, I don't want to share it. I don't really want to share.
This is all, that's all new for me too. And yes. It all kind of came new with my daughter. So it was just kind of like, I wasn't trying to be like cool, like, like, hey, I'm not going to put my kid on the internet kind of cool. I kind of was just like, I'm going to start this. And if it feels right, I'm just going to keep doing it. And it always feels right. It always feels, now I post things where you can see parts of her, like her arm or like her, but I don't post her face.
And you would get a lot of views if you posted her, because we all know that like kids and pets get like way more views.
Well, I mean, and she's like adorable.
and she's the cutest thing ever. And she dances and she's like ridiculously cute. But that's, I don't know. To me, that definitely raised you in my esteem, because it's like, that is so clearly the priority, as opposed to, I don't know. I just get caught. I don't know. And maybe like you don't resonate with this, but just like I get caught on the freaking Instagram scroll hole. And I'm like, is everyone just like, is this the goal? Like, is everyone just trying to become like famous? And like, I kind of fall into that category. Like, I'm trying to gain some traction online, and like, I'm kind of trying to get like, like we're all trying to get like clients or whatever, publicity, but it's like, is this what it really all comes down to, is like the way that we present ourselves in this screen? And then it's like, no, that's not actually it. And that there's so much more.
I have 2 comments on that.
Yes, go.
1, my Instagram or my social media is for me. It's what I think is cool. It's what I like. And you can either like it or not. I really don't give a shit. Like,
that's awesome. That sounds like wisdom.
And I've had a lot of people like go like, the way you post your things on social media, you're never going to get any traction.
Yeah, you're fucking up the algorithm.
You're not understanding the algorithm. You got to do these things and blah, blah, blah. And I do some of those things from time to time, but I do my social media the way I want to do it. I really don't give a shit if it's hitting the algorithm.
Right.
It's how I want to present what I'm doing.
Yes.
Also, something that Joe Rogan said was, he's like, I post and ghost.
Yeah.
And I'm very much a post and ghoster. Like, I post.
It sounds so healthy.
And I don't think about it afterwards. It's just part of kind of what I do to put the podcast out and to make my art of social media what it is. And I don't worry about it past then.
That's amazing. Did it take you a while to get to that point, or do you feel like?
Well, it's really helpful that, in all honesty, it's really helpful that my girlfriend doesn't have social media.
Yes.
So it's not, 1, it's not an issue. And 2, it's just mine. Yeah. It's not mine to be judged by somebody else. It's just mine. Now, I know she's seen my social media. I know she's seen like my Twitter and like things like that. But also, I don't post anything on there that I wouldn't show her anyway. Mm-hmm. And, it's mine.
It seems like that also gives it a really good element of like groundedness and don't take yourself so seriously. The fact that your girlfriend like isn't like aware of it. It just kind of like, it reminds you that that's not life, or like, that's not everything.
Well, and like, you should, in a relationship, you should I'm very interested in aging. And the way we age and what we go through. I've had a client die of old age, like just die, like because he got old, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in that. And one thing I always hear like old people say is that like you have to have things that are yours, your own.
Yes.
Right? Because like when you live with somebody for 40 fucking years or whatever it is. Like if you don't have shit that your own,
you're going to lose your mind.
You're going to lose your mind because it's going to be, I would assume, a lot of codependency or whatever. Like a lot of bad things would come out of you not having your own. And so, Erin let this be mine. Yes. And I let her have her things. And I don't question her. Like it's how she wants to spend her spare time. I don't question. I go, just when do you need it?
Right.
When do you need time? I'll give it to you. You can spend it however you want to. And this is how I spend my spare time, is doing this.
Yeah.
So anything else about me that you noticed? And
you're definitely really like caffeinated, or you're naturally like the most energetic person ever. You have so much energy. That is very palpable. How do you do it? Is it caffeine? Questions.
I mean, it can't be, it probably can't not be caffeine, but
I think it's also just got to be who you are, though.
This is gonna sound real fucked up. You were correct in saying that, like, you know, I became very good at mirroring people.
Yes.
Right. That's how you make yourself feel comfortable in groups and associate yourself to it, and became the skill.
Makes other people feel really good too.
Right. It became the skill that I learned. Right. And, you know, like you said, like when I'm with them, I'm kind of this one person. And when I'm out here, it's kind of like this. And this is where I try to harness all that stuff I use for good and bring like good energy to somebody and have good conversations, right? Because I learned it for a reason. It's not very effective the way I was using it, but it's a lot more effective like this. And so I don't want to, it sounds so shitty to say I'm on.
No, but that makes total sense. You're in the zone.
Well, I'm being present. I'm like, you know, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but sometimes when the podcast is going on, weirdly, I almost hit a trance.
Yeah,
where
no, I'm sure you are.
I'm so in the moment of everything this person's saying that, like, I'm just thinking and processing and trying to like go, oh my God, like I have so many questions. Like, how do I hold all this in my head? And I get kind of lost in where the answer is. And it's only when I go back and review it that sometimes I'm kind of like, oh my God, like I don't remember talking about that. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I was
totally.
so like there.
It's
and
such a gift.
But I mean, it's taken a lot of time to get to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's really cool. And I think compartmentalization is something that gets a bad rap, but I think it's so important, especially when you're in a helping profession, to be able to have that on mode and then be able to take it off and have like family mode and like have those different places. Because if you're always integrating your work, you're always going to be kind of like carrying on like the burdens of the day. And so I think it's really cool that you're able to navigate those two.
Now, I will say sometimes, like I come home from work and I'm probably like I forget to turn off.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I'll come in. Well, but I come in on, and my girlfriend will be like, "Will you shut the fuck up?
Drop
and get
the
out
persona.
Get out of the kitchen. Leave me alone. Like, you know what I mean? You're bothering me. You're being because I have to go. I have to recognize like, oh, like you're kind of still on. Like you are being kind of annoying. Like because I am kind of like on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I've been at work or whatever.
Do you sleep?
Oh yeah.
Like 6 hours?
No, like I do 7.5, and then I take roughly a 30-minute nap every day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I would have pegged you for like a 6 hour a night kind of person.
Well, but also like so I go to bed somewhere between like I try to hit 9.
Ooh.
A lot of times it's
that's not going to happen tonight, is it?
No, it's not. This is an off night. A lot of times it's closer to 10. But then, you know, like I have to be up for my first client at 4:30.
Fuck.
So, you know, my first client is at 5:30, but I get up at 4:30. And so, you know, my hours kind of have to be really strict, and I keep them kind of the same, except off nights like this. But like everything kind of is the same pattern, trying to just create that pattern because it's, you know, I mean, I do it a long time, but it's not easy, especially like, I mean, you know, especially like when my daughter was like little and she's up all night.
I know. I was just gonna say that must have been shot to shit.
But the other part about it is, like, you know, anything past 4:30, I'm already up. So like, you know, it's like I can be helpful in that way. But I you know, yeah, I sleep. I don't know. You know, I have a friend that plays professional basketball.
Wow.
And when he plays ball, he's very intense. He's very on. And then when he's not playing ball, like he's like sleeping on the couch. Like he doesn't do shit.
Yes, he's just done.
And there's a little bit of that. It's like, you know, when I'm doing this or when I'm doing my job, it's that. And then when it's not, it's not. So
yeah.
Anyways, thank you for your
That's
professional.
My analysis.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it, but
yeah. No, I mean, you know, like the other, just before I go, the other little small bit is like, you know, everybody like has like first impressions, right? And if you're really on, if like you're up on somebody, just like, you know, maybe be a little bit wary, like, you know, and if you're really wary of someone, just be a little bit more open-minded that maybe, you know, like we think we know people so well. We really don't know
anything.
No, we're just operating out of fear, usually.
And on top of that, it can change, it can shift. Someone could be okay and then not be okay. And you have to be able to go with that. And I find so much that we make a snap decision, or 2, we decide what we know somebody is or isn't. Or 3, when we decide what somebody is and then they're not, we're like confused about like how they're not what we thought they were.
Yep.
But you're like, no, but you didn't look at everything. Right. And that's always evolving. So it's like, you really, I mean, you were fairly flattering. So, but I mean, you were on. I mean, like, I feel like you were on, but you could have been totally off. But if you would have been totally off, I'd have been like, ooh, why? Why do you think?
Yeah. Off on you.
Yeah, like if you had said something like, I don't know, you look like a guy that would eat a lot of dairy. I'd be like, well, I don't eat any dairy. What does that mean?
Trips on you.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if there was something that like I had never heard before, or that I didn't really think about myself, I'd be like, well, why? Why'd you think that?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because because that's where I grow, or I feel like I grow. But you were pretty much on about everything. So, well, I mean,
unfortunately, we're cut from the same cloth.
It just means you're good. That's all it means.
Damn.
Anyway, hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
This was so fun.
Yeah, thanks.